Imagine living in a town where the ground beneath your feet is on fire, where smoke seeps through cracks in the streets, and an invisible inferno rages just below the surface. This isn't a scene from a horror movie. This is real, and it's happening in a small American town, a place called Centralia, Pennsylvania. Once a thriving community, Centralia is now a ghost town. A fire that started decades ago still burns beneath the surface. Unstoppable, eternal, and deadly. But how did this nightmare begin? And why, after all these years, does the fire continue to rage with no end in sight? In the heart of Pennsylvania, hidden beneath quiet streets and abandoned houses, burns a fire that has raged for more than 6 decades. A fire with no end in sight. This is the haunting story of Centralia, the town that burns forever. It began like any ordinary day in May of 1962. Centralia was a small coal mining town, home to just over 1,000 people. Families lived simple lives, the coal industry keeping the town alive. But beneath the ground, deep inside the old coal seams, danger was quietly building. On May 27th, the local fire department was asked to clean up the town landfill. It was a routine task. They had done it before. But that day, instead of properly containing the trash, someone set it on fire. What seemed like a small blaze in a garbage pit would become one of the greatest man-made disasters in American history. The flames slipped into an exposed coal vein, igniting the labyrinth of tunnels that ran under the town. At first, no one thought much of it. Underground mine fires had happened before in Pennsylvania. They usually burned out on their own. But not this one. Days passed, then weeks, and the smoke continued to rise from the ground. Residents began to complain of strange odors, headaches, and dizziness. Something was wrong. Something invisible and deadly was spreading beneath their feet. By the late 1960s, officials realized the fire wasn't going away. The ground itself grew hot to the touch. Patches of earth cracked open, releasing toxic gases. Carbon monoxide levels were so high that people fainted just by standing too close. Houses started to tilt and sink as the burning tunnels weakened the ground. The once peaceful town of Centralia was transforming into a silent, dangerous wasteland. But still, many refused to leave. Centralia was their home. Generations of families had lived and died there. How could they abandon it all? Then came the incident that shocked the nation. In 1981, a young boy named Todd Domboski was playing in his backyard when the ground suddenly gave way beneath him. A sinkhole, more than 150 feet deep, had opened, swallowing him alive. He clung desperately to tree roots as deadly smoke poured from the hole. He was pulled to safety, but the message was clear. Centralia was no longer safe. The government stepped in, offering residents buyouts to relocate. One by one, families packed up and left. Streets emptied, schools closed, and businesses were abandoned. By the 1990s, most of Centralia was gone. Houses demolished, buildings reduced to rubble. All that remained were empty streets, stop signs leading to nowhere, and the ghost of a once thriving town. Yet, a handful of residents refused to give up. They stayed, even as the fire beneath them continued to burn. For them, Centralia wasn't just a place, it was a piece of their soul. To this day, a few holdouts remain, living in a town that officially no longer exists. Scientists say the fire could burn for another 250 years, consuming what remains of the vast coal reserves underground. The smoke still rises from cracks in the earth, a constant reminder of the disaster that changed everything. The government has erased Centralia from maps, its zip code revoked, its memory fading from the world. But for those who know the story, Centralia is more than just a tragedy. It is a symbol of how one small mistake can ignite a chain of events too big to control. Visitors who travel to Centralia today describe it as eerie, unsettling, almost supernatural. Graffiti covers what's left of the abandoned highway. Trees grow through cracked pavement. The silence is broken only by the occasional hiss of gas escaping from underground. Some say they feel watched. Others report strange noises in the night. the sound of distant footsteps or voices that vanish when you turn around. Whether it's the restless spirits of those who once lived there, or simply the imagination fueled by smoke and fire, no one truly knows. Centralia's eternal fire remains one of the strangest and most haunting mysteries of our time. A living reminder that sometimes the scariest ghosts are not of the dead, but of what burns beneath our feet, refusing to die. And so, the question lingers: how long can a town continue to exist when it is swallowed by fire from below? This is Centralia, the town that burns forever.
That's just one of many chilling mysteries we explore. Want more? Visit Whispers Unsolved and uncover the truth.